Deadrock is back, and what I thought from the beginning is going to happen has just started to happen. But I suppose we should start from the beginning, and that's where we left off, with Cougar laughing at Punch. And Yakuto realizes that Cougar let him hit him, because obviously he did, because he had no chance against him this entire time, but all of a sudden, he now is able to land a punch on him. Yeah, so as soon as Haidin showed up, Cougar basically decided just to have a little bit of fun. He apparently had no interest in actually killing Haidin or even Haidin's friends. He was just happy to see him and he just wanted to play around. And Haidin actually apologizes for any offense he caused, but Cougar's like, no, I was just being jealous. It's not your fault. And the two legitimately are actually friends. And so at this point, Cougar and Haidin actually begin to make up with each other, and Haidin actually smiles, and Choco is completely surprised by this, which I think is unfair. I mean, he's never shown a smile before, but he's never been shown to be a gloomy guy either. Cougar actually reaches out to shake Haidin's hand, and before Haidin can even do anything, he's then immediately fucking killed. Like, the vice principal shows up and crushes Cougar to death with a giant hand. Haidin immediately gets fucking pissed and goes to cut down the vice principal Ren, and it does nothing. Like, he cuts his hand a little, and ice grows on it, of course, like it always does. But other than that, the principal's like, oh, well, scratch. Choco realizes they're fucked and decides to get the hell out of there. Tells Yakuto they need to run away. Yakuto, of course, is like, hey, we need to get the book. And she reminds him that the library will literally show you whatever book you want just by asking it. And so, of course, Yakuto then immediately asks for the Book of God's Secret, and it is, of course, revealed to him. So Brun came here specifically to stop them from getting this book. That was the whole reason why he showed up and killed Cougar. So his first response is to smash that bookshelf as soon as it appears. And two things are revealed about this. One, the way Brunheim is able to use his giant ancestry is by just enlarging any part of his body separately. He doesn't just become a giant, he can choose which part to enlarge. And in this case, he enlarges his head. It's kind of ridiculous. And two, because he is the ruler over the library, even though he smashed a bunch of stuff, he of course doesn't pay any penalty for that, even though everyone else in the library does. Must be nice being able to break your own rules. Also, while his head is still enlarged, he then blows a giant breath at Choco, and this knocks her back and turns her back into a bird form. Haidin is still seeing red and then just starts slashing at Burn's face. And once again, small cut, little bit of ice, basically unaffect him. Yakuto is freaking out as well now. Apparently, having his face slashed and covered in blood now was too much for Burn, and at this point, he's now just pissed off at Haidin, and at this moment, he actually just kills Haidin, crushing him to death in an instant, before Yakuto or Choco could even respond. In fact, Choco starts to piss herself in fear at this very moment. So yeah, this is what I was talking about at the beginning of the video. Pretty much from chapter 1, I have had a feeling that the characters were going to die and only one person was going to survive out of the entire class. Out of the entire class, only one would survive, and it's not going to be Yakuto. Honestly, I think it's actually going to be Choco, if I'm being completely honest. But anyway, the point is, Haidin is the first victim. Now, in stories like this, normally when the first person of the group that where everyone's going to die dies, that's kind of like the crescendo point, where you haven't hit the middle of the story, but you've hit the point where everyone is like, oh shit, now what? So just based on that, I can say that we're probably going to have like a 30 chapter manga, because this is chapter 10. So most likely, we're at the 1/3 of the way through the story. But anyway, at this moment, Yakuto realizes that he's completely outclassed, and he is terrified. Like, watching someone else die in front of him that he knew personally, who saved his life, and he in return saved their life, this breaks Yakuto's spirit. The vice principal then angrily tells him to give him that book, and Yakuto's response to that is to drop the book in fear, waiting to die next. But the vice principal doesn't kill him. In fact, he gets even angrier and just orders him to pick the book back up and hand it to me. And of course, Yakuto does. The vice principal lets him go, and Choco, and we are now back with the rest of the class, and they told the entire story to, well, everyone else. Yakuto then asked Mikoto if she has the ability to bring him back from the dead, as a zombie. Once again, isn't really back from the dead, but whatever. And her response is no. If there's no body, she can't do anything about that. He is truly gone. And Yakuto is actually crying over Haidin's death, which I find to be very surprising. It's even made a joke in this very chapter that's kind of surprising that he actually cared about another living being. But honestly, I don't really see that much of a joke, because let's be honest, Yakuto is a psychopath. He has been the bad guy, an evil bastard this entire time. He has only treated other people with respect if they had value to him in killing God. So the fact that he's actually crying over someone's death is either A, he's trying to manipulate everyone else into thinking that he's sympathetic, or B, Yakuto actually has genuine human emotion, which once again, I find hard to believe. Shoko then asked if Yakuto's lost the will to fight, and he screams with rage that he is going to kill them. He's going to kill all of them, including God, no matter what. For the revenge of his people, for the revenge of his family, for the revenge of Hien, and even for Cougar. He was Hien's friend. Shoko then opens up a portal, and the Book of God appears. It's actually called God's Roots, so it's probably his entire history of who he was before he became God. Which means either in the next chapter they're about to get attacked to get the book back by God, or they're going to start reading the book and they're going to see God's backstory. So basically the next chapter will be a backstory chapter. And if we do get a backstory, that would be great. I would really like to know more about God. Yeah, so apparently what she did is she used her black magic at that moment to switch out the book. And the book that was given to the vice principal was one on potty training. And as you can guess, the vice principal is pissed, which means, once again, we're either going to get God's backstory, or we're going to get the vice principal going in and fucking things up. Alright, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up so you can enjoy more Deadrock and other anime things. Thank you, and have a great day.